Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and nice to have you along. Thank you for tuning in. You are listening to Red Ice Creations Radio. New and regular listeners, welcome. My name is Henrik Palmgren. We are coming to you from the west coast of Sweden. We're here on Thursdays and Sundays doing radio on important and interesting subjects. All for your consideration. We highlight everything from conspiracy, secret societies, history, religion, to new emerging technologies. Mass control, geopolitics, the occult, space news, spiritual topics, environmental issues, and much more. Our website is redicecreations.com. That's REDICE creations.com. Take a look around, follow along in our daily updated news, and don't miss out on all the material that we have for you in our member section. Videos, short film, radio, and extended interviews with many of our guests, and much more of that in the pipeline. All information is available on our website. Today we have Johan Calleman with us. He is the author of Solving the Greatest Mystery of Our Time, the Mayan Calendar, and the Mayan Calendar and the Transformation of Consciousness. He's researched and written about the Mayan Calendar for quite a few years, and he has his very own and a unique interpretation of the calendar, what it means, and basically that there is a blueprint or a plan in creation or evolution, however you want to look at it, and that this is connected to our progress and consciousness. He also has his very own theory on when the calendar ends. Many people today are, of course, looking at 2012, specifically the 21st of December. Carl has come to the conclusion that the completion of the calendar actually occurs on the 28th of October 2011, and we're going to talk more about that later on in the program. The website is calleman.com, that is CALLEMAN.com, and there you can find articles, links to his books, and much more. So with that, let's say welcome to Johan Calleman. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Excellent. Thank you.
It's fun to talk to somebody from Sweden, yes.
Indeed, definitely. Thank you again for coming on. We're very glad to have you. We've gotten a lot of requests to have you on the program, so this is going to be excellent. We just have one segment ahead of us here today, so time is of the essence. So why don't we kind of dive into it right away? And what I would like to do is if we have some new listeners out there that aren't that familiar with your work, Carl, maybe you can, if you will, give us an overview of kind of your main theory and what you have been researching and looking at over the last few years, Carl.
Yes. Okay. Well, it's it's sort of it ties in with a personal story here that I in 1979 visited for the first time Mexico and the land of the Maya, and heard about their particular calendar system. And I also heard about that this would be coming to an end, and read actually that it would come to an end in the year 2011. And that was a long time ahead of. It was in '79, so it means like that was still then 32 years into the future. But through my contacts with the Mayans and through my own intuition, you might say, I got a strong sense that this is exactly true. They had realized something about time that we have failed in our modern fragmented world to understand. It's like when you go to the ancient sources, it's like they see the forest, and we today we tend to just see the individual trees and not really make these links that makes our understanding of reality meaningful.
Right.
And anyway, after that initial experience, I really didn't do any work on my own about the Mayan calendar. But then there came a point in 1993 when the ideas about what this calendar system actually meant would come to me in a way that it's like books wanting to be written, and it started then, and that's when I did my basic research in the years 1993, 1995, And what I found then was that the Mayan calendar system was something entirely different from other calendar systems. And I think this is a point that a lot of other workers in this field might be missing. You know, there's all this talk about 2012 and the Mayan calendar, but if you really are to give this any importance, you have to be able to say that, well, this is there are special reasons for us to take this calendar system seriously, and to specify what these reasons are. Otherwise, it just becomes like a guesswork or sort of a free-for-all, whatever, where you can come up with whatever you happen to like and want to see in the future, or so forth.
Yes.
So my approach then was to compare, like the Mayan calendar includes a number of shift points, and my approach was to see how did these shift points match with significant historical events in the history of humankind. And at the time I was in Sweden, and that made me, well, when I was thinking of these things, I could see that there were significant correlations between Swedish history and the Mayan calendar. And so it made me realize that, well, maybe this is not just a Mayan calendar. Actually, that they had caught something about the whole planet's calendar, a sort of a calendar system that presented energies of time, energies that dominated certain eras and put their mark on it, so that certain kinds of events, certain kinds of thinking, certain forms of creativity would be coming forth in exactly those particular time periods. So it's and this is what my work has been about, and soon there will be a third book coming about this, where I'm continuing to explore the matching points of human history and cosmic evolution with the Mayan calendar system. And so in this, I think I'm created a basis for how to interpret the Mayan calendar, where where it's a little bit more objective, and people can actually see for themselves. Is this guy just making up stuff, or can he actually verify these kind of things? Right. It's not just I'm not somebody. You don't have to trust that I'm a prophet. That's completely beside the point.
Right.
All you have to do is to see, is he telling the truth? Is the shift points matching the actual historical events?
Right.
So that has, that's my particular take on the Mayan calendar, and that's what I think is making it a little bit unique and different.
Indeed. And so, I mean, where are we now if we should, locate ourselves, so to speak, on the Mayan calendar? There are specific phases and steps, if you will, within the Mayan calendar. And we are, let's see, where are we then? We're about 3.5 years away from the completion or end date, according to your count system. Where on the calendar are we today then?
Yeah. Well, there is a basic structure of the Mayan calendar that's important to be familiar with. And I think another thing I need to point out here is that, you talk about shift points. These are eras that are carrying different ways of thinking and so forth. And one of the things that really makes the Mayan calendar unique is that it is not astronomically based. And that's what makes it fundamentally different from all other calendars in the world, because most of our calendars, they are based on the physical reality. Like the Christian Gregorian calendar that we follow on a daily basis is based on the orbit of the Earth around the sun, the solar year.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that unless you want to apply it to understanding the course of events. Because the material reality does not determine what kind of ways of thinking that human people have. In my view, it's quite another phenomenon that brings about new ways of thinking and creating and so forth. And so that's a fundamental thing that I want to say then when I talk about the Mayan calendar. It's not an astronomical calendar, and that's one of the things that gives us reason to put more faith, if you like, in this calendar than in other calendars.
So what is it based on then, Carl?
What the faith is?
Yes, and what they based their calendar on. It seems to be that they have to have some kind of entry point or starting point or something to build from upon, so to speak.
Right. Well, to begin with, I should say that it's sort of organized in 9 levels. And the Mayan pyramids, at least those that are the most significant, they are built in 9 levels. So if you go to some of the most important sacred sites like Chichen Itza, Palenque, Uxmal, and a couple of others, you will find that at the center they have a pyramid that's built in 9 terraces, 9 levels. And then, of course, in the front of the pyramid, on the front side, there is a staircase, and so you can climb that particular staircase and come to the top of the pyramid. And this really sort of symbolizes the course of human evolution, and how we are step by step climbing through the 9 levels of evolution. And these were referred to as underworlds in the ancient Mayan terminology.
Yes.
And then each of these underworlds is also subdivided in 13 different heavens. And these are like a wave movement. It's shifting energies that it's also these shifting energies, so this wave movement is also described in the book of Genesis in the Christian Bible, where it talks about God creating the world in 7 days and 6 nights.
Yes.
And that's a wave movement where that brings about a new field of consciousness, and it starts with the seeding of this particular field, and then after this wave movement is completed, it turns into a mature fruit. And so we are now, if I'm to in this scheme that I repeat now, it's 9 underworlds, 9 levels of evolution, each of which is developed through a wave movement of 7 days and 6 nights. And in that scheme, then, we haven't reached the 9th level, the highest level. We have come to the 8th level. And in that 8th level, we are now in you might say, the 5th night. So there are still 2 days and 1 night to go after this night has been completed. And night in this case, it means that it's a time period that's that's like a period of rest or sometimes distraction.
Yes.